What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So today, as you can see, we have this absolutely stunning Mercedes E430. The rare factor on this car is ridiculous, and the spec on this thing is absolutely incredible. I mean, look at it. It is definitely a future classic and will be a future classic in the upcoming, I'd say, about roughly 10 years time. Let's get straight to it, because I am genuinely looking forward to doing a full review on it, and of course telling you guys if this thing actually is a future classic or not. Right, so before we get to even anything, just to let you guys know, this is a 7-seater. Probably my favorite thing about this car. As you can see, 7 seats. So let's actually sit down and see what it's like. And funny enough, I'm quite a big chap. There's quite a lot of space in here. Pretty impressive for something that was made back in 2002. So all I'm going to say is, despite the fact that this car being incredibly good looking for its age and absolutely mint, I will talk about something. During 2002, Chrysler actually owned Mercedes, so they had a whole generation of having rust. So these cars suffered with rust. This is the first Mercedes during its generation that I have come across that has absolutely zero rust, which to me sounds like this has been looked after very, very well. Obviously, before we even get to the interior and the spec and everything, as you guys know, I'm a little bit obsessed, or a bit too obsessed with performance. So I'm going to show you guys what this lump of a Mercedes V8 actually looks like. That's the old school way of opening a bonnet. Look at that thing. I mean, look at the size of that engine. Jesus, that is a big V8. I mean, it produces 270 brake horsepower. I mean, it's a non-AMG, but the fact that it produces 270 brake horsepower back in 2002 was more than enough. Right, so I haven't spent quite a lot of time inside in terms of driving it, as I only just got it now, and I just noticed one thing. This thing is huge. This is a big car. I mean, a 7-seater is supposed to be a 7-seater, but geez, I mean, look at the size. Look, all that space, and of course you've got the 2 extra seats in the back. There's quite a lot of practicality going on here, which is what the most ideal thing was for this car. I mean, during this generation, people would buy this car to take abroad and back, and abroad and back multiple times without having any sort of worry, because it's mated with a bulletproof engine, which gives you enough performance during that time, reliability, comfort. Just to mention to you guys, obviously, for anybody that's actually looking for a generational car like this, this car in particular is actually up for sale. The link's in my bio. So obviously, as you guys know, it is for sale, so definitely check the link in my bio. It will say for sale, and the link will be in there for this particular car. So first impressions of the interior, I absolutely love it. Compared to my CLS, of course, the CLS is more obviously to date compared to this, is way outdated, as it is a 2002 car. The layout of it is very, very old-fashioned, of course, which I like, actually. I mean, it's very simple. Obviously, you've got the dials, individual dials, which I love the most. But what the most impressive part about all of this going on, for example, the CLS, there's a spec which you don't find very often on the CLS 55 AMG, which is, of course, the pan roof. And this actually has a sunroof. It has a pan roof, which is very, very rare. It is extremely rare on these cars, which even shocked me, to be fair, because I know Mercedes quite well, and I was pretty shocked to find the fact that it's got even nav. It's got pretty much everything you need for a car to take abroad and back, having no sort of worries. I mean, if you look at the dials here, so for the parking sensors, which is very, very Mercedes-like. Right, so I'm not going to waffle on too much, but this is what Mercedes does. I mean, you've got each individual. What I like the most is the fact that all the buttons are individual. This is how a proper old school Mercedes should look like. And it's got the individual buttons, of course, turn the window down, of course, doing up, and it's got all 4 for all 4 windows. You've got the sport button as well, just like any other one, compared to like the CLS, which is a little button, You've got the parking sensors, of course. And what the best part is, I like the fact that it has got my favorite feature, closing the wing mirrors. And what I like the most, the fact that you can adjust it yourself however much you want to do it, which I think is very cool. Right, so I'm going to open the windows. A little bit hot in here, but guys, we are actually now properly driving the Mercedes E430. I can't express enough to you guys how beautiful this thing is to drive. It's like driving on a cloud. It really, really is. If you sit in a proper Mercedes, and when I mean a proper Mercedes, I mean a proper Mercedes, you know how a proper car should feel. I mean, let's talk about this generation of car. So this is a 2002 car, so 52 plate, and Mercedes during that generation aimed at one thing, is giving the driver and the passenger the feeling of knowing that you're driving a Mercedes. Doesn't matter what you're driving, right? So this car itself was built to do that. I wouldn't even doubt it a second. So the overall quality and the quality build of this car, and just its appearance, is just something you can't compare to. And a lot of people have asked me, and of course also mentioned to me in the past, about bringing on Mercedes future classics, right? Just doesn't have to be Mercedes, could be anything. This car in particular, I will stand by and say, you know what, this thing will be a future classic. It has to be. This car has to be, because the rare factor of this E430 in particular, you can pick up E320s and all sorts of stuff, but the E430 is a car you don't find very often, which I like the most. I like cars you can't find. I like cars you can't have. When you find a product which you can't have, makes it more desirable. And the thing about this thing in particular, it's not fast. It's not fast in any way. I mean, during its generation, of course, a big V8, 270 horsepower, that was a lot back in 2002. But now, you're getting 2-litre 4-cylinder engines producing double the power. But that's not the point. My point today is, I am genuinely sitting in a car which will make history in the upcoming 10 or 20 years. So if we put your foot down, it really does move. And this is what a proper Mercedes does. The fact that it's a very old car, but yet it still seems to surprise me. And I am going to talk about another thing actually, the steering, the overall feel of this car. So it's got a big lump, so it is mated with, I believe it's a 5-speed automatic, mated with a 4.3 litre V8, which, like I mentioned, is producing 270 horsepower. And I'll be real with you guys, the engine and the gearbox, actually the engine itself doesn't really suit the car. And you're probably wondering why. When you get cars with big V8s and all sorts of crazy stuff in there, what makes it so special is the fact that it wasn't built to be fast. It was built to enjoy. This engine really doesn't suit the way the car handles. I mean, its steering is so light and it's so enjoyable, which is what a proper family car should be. This is a family car. Let's be real, it is a family car. So, as an overall Mercedes, as an overall car, it is definitely on the list to be a future classic. I'm not 100% sure when it will be a future classic, but I can assure you it will be a future classic one day. I mean, you look at all the Mercedes old classics like the Mercedes Cosworth and all that good stuff. They were proper granddad cars. They were, well, no, I wouldn't say granddad cars, but they were classics. And this shape in particular will definitely be up in the big league for sure. So to mention, it's quite a big turning circle actually. The steering is absolutely lovely. But as you guys know, I review some serious performance cars, from 750 brake horsepower S6 to C63s to all sorts of crazy cars. But this seems to top it off. And the reason being is because I like my classic cars. I will be honest, I'm 23. You'd expect me to like all these big cars. I love big cars, don't get me wrong, I love big powerful cars. Cars like these is what really makes me happy. It's what brings the excitement. And I want to talk about one last thing before we finish the vlog off. I know I've been blabbering on a little bit, but I want to talk about one last thing. The actual E430 in particular, like I mentioned before, I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you guys, but was a limited car. This car was limited. I'm not sure, I can't remember off my head on how many were made, but this car was limited. I don't think there are many around in the UK. I believe there's only maybe 25, 30 available left in the UK as we speak, which is what makes this car so special. Excluding all the performance stuff and the big V8 and the reliability, all that good stuff, I want to focus on the actual value of this car. Let's put the window down, it's a little bit hot in here. Let's talk about the value of this car. This car is a 2002 car, as you can see, but that's not what I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to answer to you guys is that what you're watching a car that will go down in history as one of the most iconic cars Mercedes will ever build. I mean, if you look at these modern cars, example, none of them will be classics for sure. And the reason being I say that is because the fact that these modern classics can't, these modern cars can't do what these old cars can do. For example, this car could take you to the other side of the world and back 6-7 times without you worrying, without you being uncomfortable. There's no sort of negative feeling about the car at all. You don't get that. You don't, in a newer car you do, because you think something's gonna break. This thing is built to last. This thing is built for what it's meant to do, which is take you from the one side of the world to another, but also have the bonus of, you know, having a nice V8 in there, having the satisfaction of knowing that you can drive and not actually feel the road. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please smash the subscribe button, guys. We are a growing channel. We are getting there very, very slowly. If you guys are of course interested in buying this E430 in particular, it is up for sale. The service history on this thing is ridiculous. I didn't think it had that much on there, but it is mint for what it is. It's had loads of work done to it, rust free, and I can guarantee there's absolutely no rust on this thing. So for someone of course looking for a future classic, an investment which is guaranteed you, then definitely check out the link in my bio. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to smash the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more, of course, weekly episodes, and we should be bringing out some cool stuff soon.